Hi guys, Squall here, and welcome to another Transport Fever 2 video, and you join us in a very busy Thatcham bus station. This is another episode in the series where we're trying to get $1 billion in hard mode. We're using a bunch of mods. There's a Steam collection that's all detailed in the video description. And yeah, we're doing okay so far. We're just about, if you look bottom left, we're just about to pass our first $100 million, but that's soon going to change because we're about to reinvest it. Now, whenever you see this kind of thing, huge queues, it's a bit of a hint. It's a hint that you don't have enough vehicles or your vehicle capacity just simply isn't coping anymore. If we click on this, we've got 140 passengers who want to go from Thatcham to Mablethorpe. And if we go up to Mablethorpe, which is quite a bit of a journey for a bus, we can see that a similar situation is happening coming back the other way. In fact, that passenger station is now completely full and we're losing passengers. This is now a sign that we really need to put a train line here. The buses simply can't cope. It's too far. The capacity of the bus compared to the distance it's going smells of train. So that's one thing that we have to do today, is sort out that. However, I am going to just speed time up a little bit. I am going to wait because we're 1944, and if I remember, 1946, I think there might be some diesel stuff coming, or possibly some MPU stuff, some multiple unit trains. So we'll just let time burn because we've got some other things that we need to sort out. One of them is the situation here. This factory wants to level up, but doesn't really have the demand for it. Remember, shipments equals demand, and it's not quite getting there to level up. So this is kind of holding us up a little bit. The only the only consumer is Romsey, and Romsey's getting a good supply of fuel, but this really needs another consumer. And if we look around, we can see, well, we did talk about this before, Mitcheldean is a fuel consumer. So I'm kind of targeting that as our next potential export of fuel. So the question then becomes, well, how do we get the fuel there? So if you refresh our minds, we're taking crude all the way to here and dropping it off, and then we're trucking the oil to the factory, to the refinery, to get it into fuel. Excuse me. And we're then trucking it into Romsey. So one option is to build a road network from here to here and truck it over. And that's, not an invalid thing to do. It doesn't scale particularly well, and you will need a lot of trucks on the road. So, yeah, you could absolutely build a road through there. But since we've also got the station here, which is in catchment of the refinery, and this wasn't an accident, we might as well train it down there. It probably cost a couple of mil to build a line there. We'll then have a nice rail link between these two places. It's not unfeasible that we could use it later as a passenger network. We could, bring some passengers here instead of there. I don't know. We have options. Also, another thing is we don't have any food yet for Lee. So that's one thing I'd like to look at. Our food network is actually here. And if we look at the factory that's converting into food, it would quite like more demand anyway. So another option, because the food's being brought back on a train here and then trucked into Thatcham, another option is to get food from the drop-off points here at Thatcham down to Lee. And we have a high-speed road to Romsey, and we have a high-speed road to Thatcham. So it's not unfeasible to do a bypass road, a fast kind of bypass road, and maybe just truck some food down to Lee. It wouldn't be an enormous amount, but it will get it going. And at the same time, what I'd like to do is build a bus network here and maybe get a bus route going on there. We seem to have some demand for it. Not huge, but it's not bad. Certainly enough to support a bus network. And the whole point of this is to get Lee to grow and to get Mitcheldean to grow. So that's effectively what we need to do. So let's start off by switching over to the streets. And if we just look at these roads here, they're probably that size. So we'll drop in just a couple of roads here, just because I want to try and get a little circuit going like that, just so we've got some kind of a bus route that we can run. Maybe do that as well. Not so much a grid, but just something that it can, navigate around. We'll do the same thing over here at Mitcheldean, because it's got a nice coastal road there, so why not do that? Maybe a link there, it's not terrible. Maybe we could just ditch that road and give them a slightly better road. Let's give them a curved road. Come on. Let's be nice. And then we'll just upgrade that there. And then we'll upgrade that there. Oh, look. And the city town planners moved in and went, hey, I like that. So, yeah, we've got some kind of a circuit going on here. So all we really need now is... And we could actually do a bus run between these two. I'm not sure what the demand is, though. Not yet. It's not amazing. It's not ready for it. We could run it, but we'd probably lose quite a bit of money. So let's build these cities up, and then we'll think about doing that. So we're going to need a depot. So we'll drop in a road depot somewhere out of town. Like that. It doesn't hurt to have them scattered around, because it just means that, you know, if we spawn something over here, it can always come out there if it needs to. And similarly, we'll drop one out of town, maybe out here. Later on, we might upgrade this road. So then we just need to think about the bus stops. Let's see. So if we have a very simple circuit, maybe one there, because you can kind of see the coverage area. So if it goes around here and maybe comes that way, that will cover that bit, and then comes back this way. Let's see, it could probably stop there, and then maybe here. That should give it some pretty good coverage. We'll do a buses. This is Mitchell Dean buses. Let's see, would you go? B Mitchell Dean, there we go. What colour? What colour should we have? Let's have a blue colour. And then we'll click on add. Create a clockwise circuit like that. Very simple. And then we'll just click on this, buy some vehicles, go to passenger. The Daimler's quite nice. Any of these will do. 20 grand a year, you know. 1, 3, 4. Let's do 4 for now. They're not a huge setup. We might need more later. But, you know, that'll get it going. Right, come down to Lee and we'll have a similar thing. So we'll drop in some bus stops. Let's have a look at this. So maybe... Because I always think about growth. Like, there's nothing here yet, but we know it's going to grow. We know it. So when we're looking at the placement of these bus stops, we've got one eye on what's going to happen as well as what is happening. So one here would certainly catch this lot and catch anything that grows here. So we'll put one there like that. We'll perhaps have another one down here to take this sector out. And then again, one here. Not much of a catchment yet, but it certainly will have a catchment later. And then one just to cover this segment over here so that the bus can loop back that way. You know, we could come in that way, but I think... Actually, let's have a look at the catchment. Yeah, that covers that grid quite nicely. So I think one up here would work nicely. And then we're going to go for Lee buses. Scroll up, Lee buses. Nothing to stop us putting the same colour in. And then do that. That should get them going. So 4 bus stops, which means we want, you know, 4 buses. Rule of thumb, complete rule of thumb, in case you're wondering, like, you know, is there a formula? Not really, but 1 per bus stop's not a bad plan. You can always do a +1 on that if you want to, your choice. But that's got them the bus network going. So the next thing is we're thinking about, you know, how do we transfer packs to a bus station? If we're going to go from Romsey, which has a bus station out of town, if we're going to go from Romsey interchange, if you like, to Lee, where do we want to put an interchange? Like, do we just want to drop them straight off here? Not a bad idea, except once this grows, that bus stop's going to get very, very busy. In the future, we might want to have a train line between these two, and if we have a quick look around, we can see we've got Aylsham down here. We've also got Princess Risborough. Interesting name. Princess Risborough. If we want to passenger link these later, so I'm thinking, we know that we're probably not going to come this way with the train anymore, probably, but we might go Thatcham, because we're going to build a train station here soon. We might want to come Thatcham and bring a passenger line that way, which would take care of these two. So that would work for those. So if you think about a train station, sorry, for Lee, Mitchell Dean, Bradford on Avon, Sandhurst, there might be a line here. Again, just trying to get some concept of where we're going to go in the future. So on that basis, it might be an idea to have a train station here, which means we want our bus interchange here, which does mean that buses coming from Romsey have to drive through to get to it, but that's fine. We can always upgrade that road as need be. It will be a little bit destructive, but it's completely doable. So why don't we, on that basis, build a street, and there's no point building it narrow at this point. We'll build a fat street like that, just coming out like this. We'll give them, let's think about this. We'll have a nice high-speed road going that way, and then we'll curve off like that. Let's think, let's curve that way. Yeah, we'll do it like that. We'll basically build some infrastructure for them that they don't need yet, but will serve nicely in the future. And then we'll have our bus tram station. So we want 0. We'll go 3 30-meter platforms. We won't do trams just yet. And let's see, we want it like this. Yep, that will do nicely. So we'll have it back there because we're going to build it a bit longer. So we'll configure it. So again, this is like massive overkill for what this town currently needs. And you could just build this later. But I like to do a little bit of a land grab early on. Like that. Because that stops the AI from, you know, because what the AI will often do is put roads around, start building up all the way around. Like in the past, in the other days I've played this, you know, I'd put a bus station maybe here. And what happens is the town just puts buildings all around. And then the next thing is you want to expand your bus station and it's all getting chock full of buses and you've got nowhere to go. If you just build them out of town a little bit, you'll find life gets a lot easier. Like that. No, it doesn't like that, does it? There we go. Yeah, so we've got that interchange. So what we can now do is add that to our network and then maybe stick another bus on. So we've got George Street first, then the Grove. So so we click on Grove, which means the next station that we add will be inserted between Grove and Windsor Road. So we click on that. And then we can see it's already looping back, which is, yay, it's okay. It'll do for now. But later on when the town gets bigger, we probably want to reconfigure it and have the bus route going a bit more of a friendly journey. Alternatively, we could move the bus stop to here now. You know, not to stop us doing that and connect that road. You could just connect that in that and have your buses, you know, do this kind of thing. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Let's, for example, instead of dropping off here, why don't we have a bus stop there, which is similar catchment, not exactly, but similar. And then we just reconfigure the bus network to say after Lee West, go to here and then get rid of Windsor Road and just do that. And then we can just remove that bus stop altogether. Yeah? So, you know, there is no right way of doing this. It's just ways of doing this. So we come into the bus stop and then we go back out again. That's fine. Absolutely fine. With that interchange in mind, it would be nice if we could upgrade this road network, but I am conscious of like 2 buildings moved. That's not so bad. Ideally, I'd like to get these, but look what's going to happen. We're going to lose 3 buildings. So it will disrupt the population of this town doing this. Because that one there, 7 buildings, 7 moved, 1 removed. So if we go along like that, actually, I should have put the bus lane in, so we'll do a yes. Because the whole point is to have the bus lane like that. Yeah, you want the bus lane. So it's a little bit invasive. It probably knocks a bit of population out, but it gives us a wonderful direct bus route all the way through here. And that allows us... hang on, I was going to put 1 more bus on that day. I just remembered. If we go to Lee buses, manage vehicles, and just add 1 more vehicle because we've got 5 here. The next thing we want is Lee to Romsey buses, so we'll do that now. Lee, if I can spell it correctly. Romsey buses. That, and we'll make that a green color. And it'll have 2 stops. That one to that one, and green's not going to work, so we need to go with a... Let's go with a pinkish colour. Okay, right, now, you can see that the game auto-chose a platform that's already being used, because I don't know why, but the game just does that. So what we need to do is when it gets to Romsey Sidings, we need to go to platform 3. Just always double-check these things. You'd be amazed how many times the game doesn't use an available platform. Then the next thing to do is check the route that it's going to take. So at the moment, it's going to come down this slow road. You see that? It's going to come across that slow road and kind of hack its way out of town. Not the best thing. So what we'll probably do is come in with some high-speed roads like this. Let's put it on curved. Just thinking about traffic patterns, we probably want to ideally come in like this and just bypass town altogether. But we've also got a truck delivery network coming in this way. So how do we preserve both? Well, we could probably come in around there and then join that to this one instead and maybe just get rid of that road altogether. So what we'll do is we'll drag that around like this. So let's bring it more of an angle like that. The other thing is, do we want people to build here? Maybe not. So we'll go for one without trees and just make it a high-speed normal road. And then what I'm going to do is just wait for these trucks to disappear, pause it, and then we're just going to delete this, which is going to break a few of our road networks. But I'm just not happy with what's going on here. So I'm just going to go back and do that. And then this and this needs to join into this network. Different ways of doing this, but we could, one option is to just connect it like this and then build a connection between these two. That's certainly one way of doing it. And then if we have a look at our line routing now, we can see that the trucks are going to go through that way, which is fine. These high-speed buses are going this way, and everything else appears to be working. So yeah, I'm happy with that. We'll unpause that. Next thing is to put some quickest buses we can. What's our quickest bus? 50k. We have a 50k bus here. So we're going to have, I don't know, maybe 5 of these. And we want them on the Lee to Romsey bus network. So we'll color them. Lee to Romsey buses, and off they go. So that's Lee sorted. It's now got some public transport, you can see, so it's given a little bit of city growth. It's just going up now, 10-20%. So this number should start to grow. We've got, or we should have, there you go, a little bit of public transport going on down here. Not a lot. This line's going to lose us money. And we've got a connection between Lee and Romsey, which will definitely help both. And we've just improved our road network a little bit. So that's a nice place to start. It's 1946. Unfortunately, I didn't see a pop-up about diesel trains, so I must have got that wrong. Maybe it's 1950. I don't know. So we've done that now. Next thing we need to do is work out a Thatcham to Mablethorpe train line. Since I've been talking, we've gone up $100 million, which is just phenomenal. If we click on our line network here and just have a quick look at this, as I've noted many times, and these are some of the new bus networks we just put in. They're the loss leaders, yeah? We're not worried about losing money here. They're growing the towns. They're getting people on the faster networks. Don't worry about it. If you start seeing cargo in here, go and have a look at it. But at the other end of the scale, our major cargo networks, oil, crude, our food run here, all doing very well, bringing in lots of money every year. But this needs to change here. We need to get another passenger network going, so let's focus on that. Right, so up in the corner here, up in Mablethorpe, this is quite straightforward because, well, we built this with the future in mind, didn't we? We already knew that we was going to do this at some point. So now it just becomes a case of what do we put here? Do we put a terminal? Do we put a through station? Wow, look at Loughton. Loughton is exploding. We're going to have to review Loughton at some point for the passenger side of things and make sure everything's ticking along. You get issues later. I know I'm digressing, but you get issues later. For example, the bus network that you originally put in might not be adequate anymore because you've got all this area that's possibly not being picked up now by bus stops. You have problems with scaling. Maybe your buses aren't big enough. Maybe your trains, you need to put passenger trains in because you've got too many people, making public transport journeys. I don't know. We need to review it. And also, sometimes your truck drops, which are these things here, whatever you're trying to drop at one of these, like, for example, if we're dropping fuel there, straight away you can see to the north, there's some area up here that is not being covered now by the fuel drop. And sometimes if it gets too big, you need to do two stations and do multi-drop. That's for the future. We'll sort that out later. That's growing pains. Right now, we need to figure out what we're going to put here. We could put a terminus, but as I said before, don't. Don't do it unless you have to. It's like the edge of the map. Just don't do it. Because, we may go through. We may go through at some point. I'm not saying we will. I don't think we will. But we could do. Now, we're trying to get a train line coming this way. So we're going to roughly go... Well, we can roughly follow the road, effectively. Or we can go round the left side of this paper factory. I think we'll probably go left side and then punch through the hill. We're going to have to avoid this silver bar factory. So what we'll probably do... We could angle it like that, but if we ever do go that way, it's better to be this way. So I think this is probably the best approach. So then the other thing is, what does the connection look like between these two? How do we get these connected? Well, they have to be connected via road somehow. So one thing we could do is build a road here. Or we can put the station here. It doesn't really matter how we connect it as such. Let's get the street network up. If we build a station here and it stops us from making that wider, that's my only slight concern. Oh, look. Oh, look. Guess what the game did? Able thought buses, platform 2. It's at it again. Yeah, we're unlikely to need more than 3 lines there. Unlikely. So what we'll do is we'll drop our train down. We want to go 240 meters. We will put high-speed track down for this because this is a PAX line. And at some point, we will want to put high-speed trains on the line. They are a bit more expensive, but, we've got the cash now. So why not do it anyway? We'll put 2 tracks down just to make it look pretty cool. I am noting that the elevation means we're cutting away a chunk of hill. So what I might do is I'll click on landscaping, and then we'll click the flatten tool. We'll put the brush size up. Click on this circle here, keep the strength at about half, and if we hold down the mouse button on the bus station, that will set our level, and then anywhere we drag from there will be at that level, so you can see what's happening. So we'll just cut into that hill a little bit, and then we'll click on the smooth tool, which is this one, and we'll just smooth it out like that. And that just gives us a bit less of a ugly looking chunk taken out of that hill. What we'll do is we'll put it like this. We'll leave it a little bit of distance away. As long as we can road connect this, it'll be happy. We'll put it like that. And then we'll get the road tool out and see what we can... We need to connect something into here, like this. Because passengers will need to be able to walk between these two areas. So... actual fact, that will probably do it. We click that. Yeah, there you go. They're all connected now. So the passengers will take that footpath there and get straight into the train station. So we don't need to connect the road per se. We just need to connect the, as I said before, the little footpath things is all that really matters. Yeah? So as long as you click on it and it highlights, you're all good. So that's the high-speed thing. Now, the trickier station comes here. This is the slightly tricky one because we've already got an existing line going through here, and the town is built right up to this line. If we actually look at this track, we've got, a line already going through this section of track, and ideally we want these 2 lines here, these 2 tracks, to branch off like that. And, we don't really want to interfere with what's going on. This is a freight line, and my advice is always to keep freight and passengers on separate track if you can, because passengers are very time sensitive and their trains are usually faster than a freight train. So if you put a freight train on the same track as a passenger train, you're going to slow your packs down. There's no doubt about it. And freight tends to stop a bit more frequently as well, and you don't want to do that with packs. So what I would propose to do is we'll have 4 tracks here instead of 2, and the freight will take the inside and the packs will take the right side as we look at it. We'll just have to delete this track here and put it back in a minute. But while there's no trains there, we'll quickly pause it, and we'll get quite invasive. Now this bridge may also need to be deleted and put back because our train station is probably going to sit right here. So that may have to move over a little bit. In fact, what we'll do is we'll delete that now, and we'll build something. We'll get rid of that as well. I don't particularly like this this thing anyway. So we'll do that, and then we'll just quickly smooth that out. I don't like things to look ugly, you know. I like them to look natural, but not like really stupidly bumpy and ugly. Then what we'll do is we'll delete this section of track here. We need it to be long enough, so we're just going to make sure we have enough space. And then we'll drop in our pack station. And our pack station is going to sit something like, so as you know, as aligned as possible is what we're looking for. We're going to have just 2 tracks. We're going to add more in a second. So again, we just want to be somewhere like that. Remember M and N, but if you hold the shift key, it gives you very small incremental movements. So something like, doesn't have to be bang on, something like that will probably do us. And then the same principles that we just used a minute ago, if we drag a small section of road, in fact you can see, we can probably make that slightly wider and do it in one go like that. We'll say no to bus lanes because they look stupid. Just put a piece of road outside and then just double check. Yep, they are definitely connected, they highlight. So just that small piece of road will give the passengers a way to walk over there. If you want to, if you don't like the look of that, you can, of course, you know, just do it like this and just make it look a little bit more involved. It's aesthetics. Functionally, it'll work fine. Aesthetics, you know, that's down to you. So then we want to delete this track here. So we're just going to pull that back a little bit, give us some space. This track is, of course, going to become our new branch line. So we'll need to just detach this, pull it right back, because it's going to have to divert a little bit. So we want it to start curving early, if you like. So we'll delete it to like here. Same with this. So we'll bring this right back now. Like that. It's going to curve and go down the side. And then what we'll do is we'll come into here and we'll reconfigure this and add some more track. Now, this is the freight line, so it doesn't need to be the high-speed track. And of course, we can upgrade things later. It's not a problem. But for now, we don't need to do high-speed track on this section. You can see the silvery color. Let's close that a second. You can see the silver color of that track. That's the high-speed, and this is the non-high-speed. So from here on in, we're going to go out with high-speed track. Now that there is probably worth deleting. Smooth that out, because otherwise it's just going to get in the way of our curve. So what we want to do is put this track back. So we'll go to tracks and we'll go non-high speed. We want the catenary and we don't want parallel. And we're going to go from here and reconnect that like that. So that gives our freight train a way through, and then we shall reconnect that. There you go, that should put that back. And then the final thing to do is just come in and put this back, and everything should be back as we had it. Now, we can't build this because of our signals are in the way, so we just need to delete our signals. And then we can put these back. Actually, if I just look there, you see there's a piece of track. So if we just drag that back in, okay. Sometimes it's better if you come in the other way. It's just the way the game works. And then if you want to, you can just smooth that out. Just make that look nice again. And then obviously the signals are completely broken because we got rid of a load of them. So we just need to put some signaling back. So if we go to signal, one way, yes. We'll have one there, just before here. And then where the track merges, we want one there and one there, just to govern the merge. And then the same thing here. We want to govern the merge into this section of track. Like so. And then after the split. That is a little bit close now, so we'll just delete that. And we can put it like that, just space them out a bit. So it comes through there. It can have a signal. So that's a contention area. This is, let's think, this is going to come out of, so go into there. We'll put one, that's fine. Yep, that's good. If you want me to do an in-depth tutorial on signaling, let me know. I know a lot of people understand it already. Some people always get confused by it and lost by it. But I wouldn't want to go through it in detail in this Let's Play, but I could do a standalone video on it to explain it. Anyway, that's that back. So the only other thing now is to put this road network back, and then we're free to build that, and we can unpause it. So the question is, like, how do we want to connect that road into our town? How do we want to get that over here? It's a very good question. Like, we have a road we have effectively a freight line going through here. So we kind of want to get a through road here. You can see, because this is already a high-speed road. So if we go to our road and then do the one with trees on it, like that, and then say we want a bus lane, go to the upgrade tool. What we can do is take the pay now. It's going to be quite an expensive upgrade, but it will effectively give us a bus lane all the way through, and that ensures that our freight can get through that. And then if we just flick back to, so let's do that, then we don't want to have the tree road. We want to go for the normal fat road, which is this one. This may not upgrade. Oh yeah, it is doing. Sometimes they don't upgrade because there's not enough room, but in this case, it's absolutely fine. And that's that bit done. So now we've got a place that we can jump into here. So we can either bridge over or tunnel. It doesn't really matter which way you go. It's just whatever you want to do, really. So we could try connecting like that, and then bridging like this, or we can tunnel like that. Probably, you know, sometimes a tunnel looks not so bad. If we go for a more, if you click on this icon here, you can choose the various entrances, and you unlock more depending on what time you're in. As you get later in history, if you like, or nearer to the current times, you get more modern kind of tunnel entrances and things. So, you know, that, for example, would work. We might want to just punt it over here a little bit like that. You know, almost a million, but it's fine, I think. And then you can quickly just smooth that out there. And we've got ourselves a nice tunnel network. Press L, just check your lines, make sure your lines are okay. All looks fine. We've got no warnings at the top, so we're free to unpause that now. And now we can carry on building this track. So as we said, we want to come through here. This is quite an elevation change from here to here. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do this. But given that this is a passenger line, look at the AI sneaked in there again, look, see? Given it's a passenger line, we want to make sure that we have as level as possible. So we'll go for, actually we'll say parallel track no for now. We're going to do the high-speed track. I'm going to build this before the game starts building more roads in our path. We said we're going to come around the outside of that. You can see the curvature affects the line speed. So if we was to curve like that, we're limiting to 190 on approach, whereas like this is like 200. So there's no point limiting it unless you need to. You see that? Scumbag game, honestly. Just that, they just keep building here. It's so frustrating. But once you put the line down, they usually don't put a road across a line. That's the rule. So once that's in there now, they should back off and start building somewhere else. The only question in my mind is which side to go here. I think we'll come in at this end and we'll let that be the deciding factor. This bit of road here as well may have to be tunneled. So I'm going to go from the outside track, which is this one, and we're going to see what happens. So when we start dragging out here, you can see what happens curvature-wise. It's already tunneling all the way through. So what we might do is just get ourselves out of the station. That's cosmetic, so I'm not worried about that. If we delete... Let me just cancel that a second. If we delete this, it doesn't matter. It's purely cosmetic. It costs some money, but it doesn't affect the output of this grain in any way. You can delete any of these fields. As long as that's there, it's fine. So if we come down like that now, we can have 300 Ks fairly flat. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. We could actually come down this side. Right, let's go and do that. We go like this. Game's thinking about it. Oh, God, what did it just do? Oh, the game just stuck in a world of logic. Let's unhitch it from there. It doesn't like that. Disconnect game, come on. Okay, hang on. There we go. Right. Oh my God, it didn't like that. So yeah, we've got... If we back off to like here, it's 430. That's quite cheap considering what we're doing here. Considering that that tunnel through there. We've got ourselves a level crossing, which is a bit annoying, but we've got a nice flat tunnel all the way through here, which I quite like. We'll disconnect that road in a minute. 429, that's a bit of a bargain, I'd say. But what I might do is just delete that road now. Delete that track, sorry, put it back. So that limits us to 184. Not too keen on that, to be honest. So what I might do is just back off a little bit. See if we can keep the speed up around that bend. So 200, I'm okay with 200. There we go, that's better. Yeah, so we keep the speed up, high speed all the way down here. It's 200 on approach. That's fine. And yeah, that looks pretty decent, I'd say. We've got underneath the field. You can, of course, just touch that up if you want to. That. And then the only problem to fix is this one, which I don't like. We could build over the top and link it back. You can't really tunnel a short gap like that. It's not a particularly vital road. We could just do a little mini bridge. In fact, we just pause it a second. The game... Actually, the game didn't complain about that. That's interesting. I thought the game would have complained. Can we just elevate over that? We can. No bridge like that. No. See, none of this is going to look particularly great. And if you tunnel it, it just looks ridiculous. So you might have to just, get creative and come out this way, for example. Like, if you come out this way, if you click on this button here, what you can do, fix slope, is you can start to elevate it like this. Yeah? So you can just elevate it up however you want. Drag that out there like that, and this way you can roll your own bridge, basically, like that. Whatever floats your boat. Some of them can look cool, some of them just look weird. We can get to like that elevation there, maybe. Probably get away with that. And then we can just click on the right parts. No. Okay. It's not having this, is it? Let's click on level. There we go. So we keep it level like that. We'll just turn it back a bit. It's a bit of a fight, isn't it? Look, it's a bit of a fight, this. This usually works just fine, but it's definitely fighting us today. It doesn't like this at all. I think it's because it's not high enough. Anyway, you can, do whatever you like there, roll your own. But I think the easiest thing in this case is probably to just go down. Just tunnel it like this. And then go underneath and come back up like that. Because otherwise it just looks pretty nasty as a bridge. But I've done some fun stuff. I've done some like S bridges and they look pretty cool. But that just keeps that connection going without interfering with our train line. Anyway, we've done what we set out to do. So what we'll just drop in now is a train depot. We'll unpause it, by the way. We'll drop in a nice train depot over here. We have got one there, but there's no way to get from... Actually, yeah. We'd have to join these tracks up, which I'm not going to do. So we'll just put a depot out of town. Way out of town. We'll keep the high-speed line going, and we'll have a... So we've not put the second track in yet, have I? Let's put the second track in. It doesn't like that. I think it's because we've gone through a tunnel. There you go. Right, so we've got double track going in and out, so we just need to have our little diamond interchange here. Just so they can switch into either platform. Same thing needs to happen here, or this is a curve, so it's going to get a little bit more tricky, but it should be okay. There we go. And then we have our depot connecting, so we can connect that into here. And then if we want to, we can have it branching off to here. And there you go. We have the basics done. Next thing is the signaling. So we get the signals done. We'll put one way. We'll have auto sig. Yes, line spacing 400 meters. And we'll have our first one just there, which will bring us to here. So then we just go to that, go to the other side, and we know we'll get the exact same spacing coming back the other way, which is beautiful. We then want to have one before the merge, just there, and the merge just there. And then same thing here, on the merge, coming back the other way. That. All looks good. And then after the merge, we'll click again, and that will give us our spacing all the way down to here. Find the last one, opposite side, click, boom, done. And that's the quickest way to do signaling. So now we just need to find the line, Thatcham to Mablethorpe trains. So we bring up our line manager. We do Thatcham, Mablethorpe packs. Sorry, I didn't call it. Should have called it R. Thatcham Mablethorpe packs will have a bright green color, and the station will be from here to here. Right, now, this is where it's going to get interesting, because what we're going to have to do is effectively remove all of the buses on this line and try and encourage people to get on the passenger line, which is always interesting. But we'll have to delete the buses over time. What we need to do now is focus on what is our locomotive going to look like. If you look under MPU, the only MPU we have right now is, or MU, is the electric, which is 125k. Tractive effort is absolutely abysmal, so it takes quite a while to get up to this speed. But, you know, it can carry 20 people, and it does have the benefit of a 2x loading speed, so it loads passengers reasonably quickly. It's okay. You can certainly use it to get a line going. The alternative is to start looking at more high-speed solutions here. You know, this one car can carry 20 people, and that's 1.4 million compared to this thing, which carries 20 people and is 400,000 and 2.7 million, and that's the whole train. You can run loads of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one of them. Yeah, we're going to stick one of them on the line, because they're not bad ways of growing a line slowly with pure electric. You can switch to diesel and you know, steam, not a problem, but these are actually not a bad way to get things going. So we'll let that run, and we'll start to phase the buses out, and once this train comes in, obviously we'll need to keep our eye on things, but yeah, it should start to pick up nicely. We'll see. Anyway, we have run out of time, guys. This has been quite a long episode. We've done quite a lot here, so we're going to have to pick this up in the next episode and see what happens and adjust accordingly. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new here for the rest of the series. Take care, guys. Happy transporting.